Comparisons between the new Netflix series Ginny and Georgia and the classic Gilmore Girls have been running rampant ever since the series was first announced back in 2020. It's a common refrain that you see even in early discussions, reviews, and promotions of the series. An oft-referenced Deadline article describes the series as follows.
The one-hour drama, which will follow angsty and awkward 15-year-old Ginny Miller, who often feels more mature than her 30-year-old mother, the irresistible and dynamic Georgia Miller. After years on the run, Georgia desperately wants to put down roots in picturesque New England and give her family something they've never had, a normal life. For Ginny, that means navigating a prestigious school, rising popularity, and complicated love interests. But it's not all carpool and kombucha, as Georgia's past threatens her and her family's new way of life.
This description is what set off a flurry of comparisons, tossing Ginny and Georgia right up against Gilmore Girls. And these comparisons have continued even now after the show has aired. A story focusing on a 30-something mom whose teenage daughter is now the same age as the mom was when she got pregnant. There's a picturesque New England town, a prestigious new school, a mature and smart teenage daughter with her charismatic and dynamic mother. I see it. I see the comparisons to Gilmore Girls. Provided you ignore that little detail about Georgia's past, which, as it turns out, is the biggest component that separates this show from Gilmore Girls. But we'll get there. So is this show basically a gritty, darker, modern reboot of Gilmore Girls? Yes. And also no. I'll explain. By the way, there will be spoilers for Ginny and Georgia. Big spoilers! The twists! Basically the ending. All of it spoiled. There are so many similarities between Ginny and Georgia and Gilmore Girls, beyond what you just see in that basic description. The teenage daughter has a sensitive, floppy-haired first love interest.
Well, that's a great movie. You got good taste. You knew, right? Just moved in across the street.
And she's going to this new prestigious school that's way wealthier and more upper middle class than any place she's ever gone before. So she has to navigate these new social dynamics, but she's also very bookish and smart, and she's good at school. The mom is beautiful and flirtatious with a can-do, determined personality.
Uh-huh. I thought you replaced that already. Well, because you told me you did, and I never forget anything. So this one's on you, right? Pleasure doing business with you.
Joe has graciously offered, for a very affordable fee, to provide a healthy, locally grown, organic lunch option to the school district, fresh from his farm a few miles outside town.
She persevered through adversity and poverty to raise her daughter all alone, and she wants to give her daughter the life that she never had. And she can do anything that she sets her mind to. She also has a will they, won't they, maybe it's endgame, I definitely ship it type of romance with a guy who owns the local restaurant and wears a lot of plaid.
Junkie.
Angel, you've got wings, baby.
Thanks, Joe.
Do I know you?
I don't know, do you?
Right, name tag. Duh.
By the way, I love Joe infinitely more than Luke. It's just, it's a no contest.
And Hunter, he's so good to me. And he's also really good in bed. And
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, nope, just truck ahead.
Even their names, Ginny and Georgia, Lorelai and Rory. Ginny is short for Virginia. Rory is short for Lorelai. The similarity that got me the most was Georgia's relationship with Ginny's father, Zion. It is almost beat for beat the relationship that Lorelai has with Rory's father, Christopher. Two teens who were in love and got pregnant, and then when the wealthy parents tried to take control over everything, the teen girl bolts with her baby.
They will get married. They will live here, and Christopher will go to work at my company. That is the solution. Now we have a plan, so we can all stop talking about it.
Lorelai, we are leaving. Please acknowledge that. Where is that girl?
Emily,
Your father and I think it would be wise for us to have legal guardianship over Virginia.
And while the boy and the girl do really love each other, the girl knows that she and the baby would hold the boy back, so she keeps him at arm's length.
It's okay. It sounds okay.
What sounds okay?
You know, working for your dad, living here. Sounds okay.
Chris, no, what about Europe? What about sleeping on a bench in Paris?
I can't do that now. I have to get a job.
No.
I have to make money.
No!
You're angry, but you love me. And I want you to keep loving me. But that will stop if you see me as a prison and not a person. I want you to get everything you want. That can't happen if I'm holding you back.
Then when they're adults, the now teen daughter just absolutely adores her dad and is so excited whenever he comes into town for a visit.
Dad!
Hey!
Dad!
Hey!
And the mom and dad have tried on and off over the years to actually make a relationship work, but it just never does. The guy doesn't want to be tied down. And every time he rolls into town for a visit, he just throws the mom's life in chaos. We see him ride into town on a motorcycle in a leather jacket. He makes promises that this is it. It's real this time. He wants to stay. He wants to put down roots.
I've known you since I was 6, Chris. You're that guy who crashed his new Porsche 2 hours after his parents gave it to him for his 16th birthday.
Laura,
What?
I want to marry you.
You don't even know what a family is!
People living together.
No! It's a big commitment. It's responsibility. It's hard work. It's coming home at the same time to the same place every day.
Okay, so what do you want? Financial statements? I can be a family man. I'm responsible now.
What did you mean? That you're here to stay?
Oh, so we're finally gonna have this conversation. She wanted to settle down.
And you didn't want to.
Actually, I did. Just not with her.
I know you. You're not going to wear khakis and go to soccer games and eat frozen peas.
God, no, that sounds terrible. But I am 33. I've got a respected body of work. I can sell from anywhere. I'm writing a book.
But inevitably, he leaves. But despite all of that, there are still a number of key differences between Ginny and Georgia and Gilmore Girls. I'll start small.
Austin, what's this song about? Doing it on the bathroom floor and getting caught.
Austin. In Gilmore Girls, it was just Lorelai and Rory. But in Ginny and Georgia, Georgia has another child. She has her teenage daughter, but she also has a young son named Austin. And this changes all of the dynamics of the relationships. And it kind of gives Georgia more responsibility and forces her to stay in that maternal role longer than it did with Lorelai and Rory in Gilmore Girls. Plus, Austin's dad is apparently in jail for fraud. A fraud that Georgia apparently framed him for. Yikes. While Lorelai gets what she wants through persuasion, determination, and creative ideas, Georgia gets what she wants through persuasion, determination, creative ideas, and being a con artist. Georgia steals. Georgia skims money from Ginny's school events. She embezzles money from the town through her job at the mayor's office. Georgia has plans on plans on plans. She has to stay one step ahead of everybody.
It's like somebody knew you were coming.
Or else this house of cards that she has built throughout her entire life will just completely fall apart. And at different points throughout the season, you see her mask start to slip, and you just see the absolute stress on her face that this life causes her.
Mom, are you even listening to me? Hello? Mom, can you hear me? Do I need Whoopi Goldberg? It's just a damn avocado.
Lorelai just had to worry about how she would get through a Friday night dinner, or pay for Chilton, or make sure that the inn had enough clean towels. It's interesting, in Gilmore Girls, Rory is keenly aware that she's kind of awkward, even though she's actually not, but the character is supposed to be kind of awkward, and she wants to be more like her mom. And in Ginny and Georgia, so does Ginny. But ironically, when both characters end up making poor choices at certain points, they turn it around and they blame their mom for the bad example that she set.
You slept with Dad when he was with Sherry.
He wasn't married to Sherry.
He was engaged, and she was pregnant.
So this is all my fault? I set one crappy example for you, and you have no choice but to follow in my footsteps?
What do you care? You go through men faster than Taylor Swift.
Oh, good. I was waiting for this one to be all my fault. And it's not like you to hurt people that you care about.
I'm awful. I'm sick. I'm a bitch. I sneak around. I'm a liar. Who do you think I learned it from?
Except, unlike Gilmore Girls, which ignored any topic related to race, in Ginny and Georgia, Ginny is half black. So she also has to deal with the dynamic of being a mixed-race girl in this very, very, very white New England town.
Pony up.
Sit down.
What, do you not think he does?
No, it's your hair.
The N-word is obviously a problematic word in today's context. Unless, of course, you're listening to a rap song. Word. Back to the word. I'm not going to say it out loud because, well, frankly, it can be very upsetting. Right, Ginny?
Ginny also has sex.
A Plan B pill, please.
Do you have a coupon?
Coupon? Wouldn't that level of preparation make this Plan A?
And she thinks about sex a lot, which is super normal for a teenager, but very unlike Rory, who is pure as the driven snow to a very unrealistic and kind of annoying degree. Well, until she sleeps with a married man. And Ginny also cheats on her boyfriend, which Rory kind of did too when she was running around with Jess Mariano behind the back of her, good guy boyfriend Dean, who was beloved by all of her friends and family. One of the best aspects of character development that we see in Ginny and Georgia that you did not get in Gilmore Girls is that over the course of the season, Ginny observes her mom, and she sees how Georgia manipulates and cons people. And eventually you realize that she is learning Georgia's tricks. And by the end of the season, when she is fed up with her racist English teacher, she decides to essentially use her mom's tactics to gain power.
Ms. Miller,
You're a racist. Targeting me, thinking I'm the only student who has a problem with the N-word.
this is entirely inappropriate.
You're being too aggressive.
And blackmail him into signing a glowing college recommendation for her.
Thanks so much, darling.
There's also a great scene where you essentially see Ginny's final transformation. So there's a private investigator who was hired to investigate Georgia, and he is getting frustrated because he has been outsmarted by her at every turn. So he decides that he is just going to directly approach Ginny and lay out all of the things that he knows that her mom has done.
I think your mom is dangerous.
And as he's revealing some of these things to Ginny, you see a flashback of her remembering something that she saw Georgia do that basically makes her realize that the private investigator is right. And as he's pleading with her to confide in him and saying that he can protect her from her mother and that she's dangerous, you see Ginny's face shift. It kind of goes soft and sharp all at once, and she just smiles. So sweet and so saccharine.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you're mistaken. My mom loved Kenny, and she would never hurt anyone.
It's so good. So, what did Georgia do that was so bad? Well, the series opens with Georgia's previous husband, Kenny, just having died. He was not the father of either of her children. He owned a bunch of yoga studios, and his death is the impetus for Georgia to take her kids and move from Texas to Massachusetts. Now, here's where we're getting into some serious spoiler territory, even more than what I already told you. So, what happened to Kenny? Well,
His wolfsbane is extremely poisonous and it causes heart attacks. Your mom owns his plant.
Georgia killed him with wolfsbane. Made it look like a heart attack. And now, here is where that little tidbit from the Deadline article about Georgia's past really comes into play.
Best get going. Traffic.
You see, Georgia didn't come from privilege and choose poverty like Lorelai did. Georgia lived in a trailer park with a drug-addicted mother whose husband just horribly abused Georgia in every way imaginable. And as soon as she could, she ran away.
Hey, kid! Come here! What's your name?
Georgia.
Georgia ended up falling in with a motorcycle gang who gave her a gun and taught her how to shoot, and she robbed convenience stores, and she went back and shot her abuser in the hand.
You got a lot of nerve coming back here. Hey, get out of my house! Easy.
After she got pregnant, and Zion's parents, who were very wealthy, insisted that they get legal custody of Ginny, Georgia ran away again. In order to make ends meet for her child, Georgia ran an illegal gambling ring at like 18. And when she got caught and lost custody of Ginny, in order to get custody back, she married this kind of skeezy guy who owned a crappy hotel.
I'm engaged. I'm getting married. He owns property, a hotel.
You didn't mention that. That might expedite things.
Then, when he held his expectations of their marriage essentially over Georgia's head,
Anthony, I haven't left this hotel in 3 days. I'm going insane.
I could always call back the DSS worker.
saying that she might just lose custody of Ginny again if she did not do what he wanted her to do. She killed him.
Oh, babe, National Treasure's on.
Lorelai never killed anyone. Except maybe Skippy the hamster. That depends on who you ask. I think that there are a lot of similarities between Ginny and Georgia and Gilmore Girls. But they all kind of exist mostly on the surface, with a few deeper themes that you might expect coming from the type of narrative that surrounds a complicated mother and daughter relationship, and the sort of conflicts that arise when you have a mother who is still fairly young with a teenage daughter. But Gilmore Girls walked so Ginny and Georgia could run in stilettos. Take off one of those stilettos and stab someone with it. The similarities between the two shows work to Ginny and Georgia's advantage. Because if you are familiar with Gilmore Girls or any type of similar show, then you have a certain set of expectations for how characters are going to act and react. So when you think Ginny and Georgia is gonna zig and then it zags, or you think characters are going to have the Gilmore Girls type of reaction to things and then it's like murder, it makes for very compelling television. One more spoilery thing, I think one of the moments for me that was just the strongest subversion of expectations is when Georgia is talking to Paul, who is the mayor, who is also her boyfriend, and she's basically trying to break up with him for Zion, Ginny's dad, because they slept together, and Paul just won't have it. And so finally she tells him, hey, Zion and I slept together. And both Georgia and the audience are expecting Paul to kind of say like, okay, well, that's it, I'm done. And instead...
Did you get it out of your system? Come on, Georgia, did you really think I didn't know you were going to sleep with him?
Paul's like, all right, so you got that out of your system. And when Georgia's surprised, he says, I knew you were going to sleep with him. I don't care. We are the same. We both want power. We're both hungry for it. And he gives this speech, and I was like, oh my God. I thought this man was basically Max Medina, and he is not. And it was fantastic. I loved it, in case you can't tell from the weird, like, breathless quality of my voice. If you like this type of genre, then I think that Ginny and Georgia is a really good, interesting show. And I, for one, am hoping that it gets renewed for a season 2 and we can see where things go next. Because I have a feeling that whatever my expectation is, it's not going to go in that direction. I know this little like piece of hair is gonna, that keeps coming down here, is gonna bother me when I look at this footage later, but I'm gonna try to ignore it. I don't have to look perfect. I just have to look human. I can't let you all know I'm actually a lizard.